Sadio Mane's fortune could have bought him 100 luxury cars, sprawling mansions, and every designer watch in the world, but instead, he chose a path that left the world in awe. Many fans mocked him for carrying a cracked iPhone in 2019, questioning how a multi-millionaire could be so cheap. However, everyone was shocked and extremely regretful when they learned more about the shocking story of this amazing human being. Stick with us till the end as I share details of this inspiring tale of resilience and generosity. But how can a multi-millionaire footballer live so humbly? What drove him to give up the glitz and glamour of fame? How did a boy from a tiny village in Senegal rise to become one of football's most selfless icons? To answer these questions, let's rewind to where it all started. Mane's story begins in Bombali, a remote village in Senegal where life was anything but easy. Picture this, a place with no electricity, no running water, and children playing football barefoot, not even with actual balls, but with balls made of cloth and plastic bags. Mane's long recalled his first football playing experience was with a grapefruit as opposed to a ball. Mane grew up in a family of 10, crammed into a tiny house, often going to bed hungry. When he was just 7, tragedy struck. His father passed away, leaving the family in even greater hardship. As a result, instead of studying, the other men in the house had to start working. But even in the face of despair, young Sadio had a dream: to become a footballer and lift his family out of poverty. His mother and uncle did not support his passion for football and tried to discourage him from playing. They believed that a boy from an unknown village had little chance of becoming a professional footballer and should focus on a more practical path, like working on the farm, as most young men in the village did. By the time he was 15, Sadio was making a name for himself. He was the best player in his village, if not the region, and was known to his friends as Balanbua, meaning the ball wizard. But no one realized at the time that this determined young boy was laying the foundation for a future that would one day transform the lives of thousands. The turning point came in 2002 when Senegal's golden generation made history. They reached the AFCON final but narrowly lost to Cameroon on penalties. That same year, they stunned the world by advancing to the quarterfinals of the FIFA World Cup, beating giants like France along the way. For Sadio, this wasn't just a footballing triumph on the biggest stage for his country, it was proof that his dreams were possible. However, Mane's challenges were far from over. The nearest football academies were miles away in Dakar, making his dream feel even more out of reach. But the biggest obstacle wasn't distance, it was right at home. As Mane put it bluntly, nobody in my family wanted me to become a footballer. Realizing that he would never get their approval, he took matters into his own hands. At dawn, while the village still slept, he packed his bags, slipped unnoticed without an ID card, and caught a bus to Dakar. Sadio had no money and relied on the kindness of strangers for food and shelter. When he arrived at the academy, the coach took one look at his tattered clothes and worn-out shoes and shook his head. But when Sadio stepped onto the field, his speed, skill, and determination left everyone speechless. The coach immediately offered him a spot on the team. For months, Sadio worked tirelessly, fueled by the little money his family could send and the coach's support. But this was just the beginning. Soon, his talent would catch the eye of scouts from Europe, and his life would change forever. Sadio's big break came when he signed with FC Metz in France, but he kept the news a secret from his family until the last moment. They couldn't believe their eyes when they finally saw him on TV. Their boy had made it. From there, his career skyrocketed. He moved to Red Bull Salzburg, where he became a star, and then to Southampton in the Premier League, where he caught the attention of Liverpool. In 2016, Sadio joined Liverpool for £34 million, becoming the most expensive African player in history at the time. But he didn't just live up to the price tag, he exceeded it. Under Jurgen Klopp, Sadio became a key part of one of the most feared attacking trios in football history, alongside Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino. Together, they won the UEFA Champions League, the Premier League, and countless other trophies. Despite all the money and fame, Mane, a devoted Muslim, remained humble and modest, qualities rarely seen in the world of professional sports. He believes it's his duty to share his success, especially his wealth, and he stayed true to this belief since his rise to fame. But what makes Sadio Mané so truly special is his humility and generosity. While other players flaunted luxury cars, mansions, and designer clothes, Sadio stayed true to his roots. He drove modest cars, wore simple clothes, and even used that cracked iPhone. In 2019, an image of Mané went viral on social media where he was using a cracked iPhone. Many fans mocked him, but they didn't know the real story behind it, and it's not what you'd expect. We'll come back to that later. But what exactly was he doing with his wealth? The answer will leave you in awe. Once Sadio started earning a steady income, he didn't buy mansions or yachts. Instead, he built schools, football fields, and hospitals in his hometown. He knew what it was like to grow up without education or opportunities and was determined to change that for others. Every month, he sent €70 to each family in Bombali just to make sure no one went hungry. He also provided the village with medicine, clothes, football kits, and shoes. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Sadio donated millions to build hospitals equipped with ventilators and life-saving equipment. But his generosity didn't stop there. He paid for surgeries for over 30 children and built houses for families in need. And yet, he never sought recognition. He is transforming his local village into a town. He's built a fuel station, a football stadium, brought 4G internet, and a post office. When questioned about his lifestyle, Mané had this to say: "I don't need to show off luxury cars or watches. I was hungry and had to work in the field. I survived hard times, played football barefoot, had no education and many other things. But today, with what I earn thanks to football, I can help my people." Despite his fame and fortune, Sadio Mané remains one of the most humble athletes in the world. Recently, a video surfaced of him cleaning the bathrooms of a mosque with a friend. When asked why, he simply said, "I wanted to help." He's since been seen helping workers unload water bottles while at home. This is the same man who once worked in the fields of his village and still does whenever he visits home. Even his famous cracked iPhone 11 had a story behind it. It was a gift from his teammate Gini Wijnaldum when it cracked. Sadio didn't rush to replace it. For him, it wasn't about appearances, but loyalty and gratitude, something he even expressed on social media.
Guys, how are you? I want to let you guys know Ginny gave me iPhone 11 for free. Thank you, Ginny, for your gift.
You're welcome, Sadio.
Thank you.
Speaking about appearances, he said, "Why would I want 10 Ferraris or 20 diamond watches? What will they do for me or the world? I prefer to help my people." In 2022, Sadio made a move to Bayern Munich for a €32 million fee in search of a new challenge, leaving Liverpool after 6 incredible years. He quickly became a key player, contributing goals and assists in the Bundesliga. However, his time at Bayern was marred by injuries and inconsistent form, limiting his impact. Despite this, he helped Bayern secure the 2022-23 Bundesliga title. Mané continued his philanthropic work off the pitch, supporting projects in Senegal. He also launched the Sadio Mané Foundation, which focuses on education, health, and sports development in Africa. He said, "I want to give back to my people because I know what it's like to have nothing." In 2023, he moved to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, where he continued his football journey, marking the end of his brief stint in Germany. Sadio Mané's story is more than just a football journey. It's a testament to determination, humility, and the power of giving back. From playing barefoot in Bombali to a global icon changing lives. Stories like this remind us that even in a world of fame and fortune, the greatest legacy isn't trophies or wealth, but in the lives that we touch, the kindness we show, and the impact we leave behind.